Hello, my name is Taylor McCausland, and I will graduate in May from Liberty with my Master's in Human Service Counseling, and my cognate is Marriage and Family, and my plan is to become a doula. The group that I co-led was a debriefing group that consisted of volunteers from a nonprofit called Medard's House. This meeting was led on February 10th around 12 p.m. for about 1 hour, and it was in the downstairs of one of our volunteers' homes in their family room. It was a very comfortable setting with 9 other volunteers of Medard's House. Each of the members were mainly between the ages of 45 to 60 years old, apart from 3 of us, including myself, who were between 22 and 26. Each of the members live right outside of the city where Medard's House is in Pennsylvania, and are all married with children with the exception of 5 of them. My relationship to each of them was simply meeting them through Medard's House, as well as one of the members being my fiance, along with his mother, who founded Medard's House, and his brother James. The group was started after community members became aware of a desperate need of a home in the community. They began seeing the lack of parental involvement in the lives of children, which led to them making decisions because they did not ever experience a bigger thing to live for, and that bigger thing is God. The group I was leading was the adult volunteers and members that are on the board. This debriefing was about a team building activity that we had done a couple minutes prior, and we did it in order to just glean for communication skills and learning how to simply work better together. I use this activity to help make connection as to how we can communicate better and work better as a team within Medard's House. So I have been involved in Medard's House for the past 7 years, when it began as a youth group at my fiance's home that was led by his mother, and then eventually it was led by the students. Since it had formed into Medard's House, I've helped with fundraisers and bringing awareness to the community about how we are here for the children and the families. So just a little bit about the process, the content, and the dynamics of the group. At the beginning, since we used the team building activity to be the icebreaker, we just began the group by simply saying, what did you take away from this exercise? The exercise was a game of building a bridge, but your team was split in half, so you could not talk to each other or see what the other person was doing. And then only 2 people, who were the communicators from each team, were able to talk and then relay back to their half of the team what they said. And the end goal was that when your bridges came together, there was symmetry. So that took important communication skills as well as listening, which is a part of communication. So up front, we made sure that everyone was informed to say what their opinion was or how they were feeling, because each idea or topic can lead to an improvement overall for Medard's House, which in the end helps the children the most, and that's our goal. So as a leader, I made sure to prompt each of the different questions to begin a conversation that led us to understanding what we needed to work on, although I allowed the members to take the conversation where it needed to go, and made sure when they began to get on a topic of another discussion, I pulled them back in to what I had asked first, because that's easy to do. So I would watch the nonverbals of some of the members to see the nodding of a head or the raise of a hand to ensure that everyone that wanted to talk did, in addition to asking some who haven't said much what their opinion was, just to hear from them. People began to explain what they took away from the activity. In addition, some of the members would become off topic, so I would gently guide them back to the question I had first asked. One of the members became slightly overpowering with her words and slightly defensive within her response, as she felt she knew exactly what Medard's House needed to become better. And although she was saying some very helpful things, I had to cut her off at times by saying, yes, I understand where you're coming from, but let's first talk about this, the question that we asked, as well as asking others what their opinions were. Because the members were of all different ages with different skills, their response to some of the questions were very different, including deeper insight or a different view than other members may have not thought of, just simply because of different life circumstances or just the way people think differently. So because we use the activity, the team building activity before the debriefing as a way to communicate and get to know one another, we refrained from using rounds or dyads, as each of them were already comfortable with speaking in front of each other and they trusted each other. I asked questions varying, but most of them using the activity as just how we can use the gifts of God that He has given us to improve Medard's House. So in addition, I asked some suggestions they feel that could be implemented into the home, as well just to simply improve it for the children. So I also looked at the nonverbals of members, continued to scan the group, and did not look at the person talking the whole entire time, but see how other people were responding in a nonverbal way to what that person was saying. Also, certain things that members would say, I would repeat back to the group for clarity to others, as well as assurance to make sure that we were understanding them in the way as what they were trying to say. So to end the group, we just explained that we are thankful for their feedback and for their participation, exposing their opinions, and we will begin to implement these suggestions to create a deeper and more helpful atmosphere at Medard's House. So, a self-assessment of myself, I was slightly nervous when I began the group. Although I have led other groups, they were always all women. So this group was not all women, there was men included, and it was always all people of my age. And as I said earlier, they were not all my age, they were much older than me. So although I believe that God imparts different kinds of wisdom to every person, whether young or old, that can contribute to a group. And I was slightly nervous that I wouldn't have been taken serious as leading the group because I am so much younger, but I was completely wrong. It was really good to have different viewpoints from younger and older people. Some of the challenges that I did face, though, leading the group, as I had mentioned earlier, was cutting people off because they were getting off topic. It can be hard for me to do that, but I recognize quickly that it is needed in order to get the most out of a group. I think that I could have handled that in a way that I responded to that member. Just being maybe more generous, as saying, I am hearing you and I'm understanding you, and we can talk about that later, but right now we need to talk about this. And I should have noticed her concerns and a promise to talk to her about later, but I just simply said, okay, we need to get back on topic, which left her with thinking that she wasn't being heard. So because I knew most of the members, I would ask certain questions particularly to that person that I knew had those skills. The one lady is a great baker, and we began talking about how we could implement the skills of cooking into some of the children's lives, and how she thinks that could be carried out. I also helped create and set a tone of positivity, along with understanding that we hear what you are saying and we are going to implement them, but that does not mean that you're going to see changes overnight. It may take time. Lastly, which I think was so important, was clarifying and restating what the different members were saying, just so everyone else understood. So in conclusion, I learned a lot about leading a group, as well as recognizing the importance of listening to each other to glean wisdom and ideas. I will take what I've learned about cutting someone off to understand that it helps the group stay more focused and gain more from the group, to implement that in my future groups. In addition, I learned how important it is to receive everyone's opinions and making each person feel comfortable, and that they can trust others in this group and not feel that their opinion does not matter. To end, I would just like to say that I began recognizing the importance of a group, whether it is to help yourself individually by recognizing you're not the only one going through something, or if it's to help build each other up to create goals and set things into motion that help in a bigger goal or a bigger ministry, which is Medard's House. So a group is a vital place to grow and share and build up what God is doing through you and others. And he says in the Bibles in Thessalonians 5:11, so encourage each other and build each other up. just as you are already doing. Thank you.